When I had my son, I remember going back to the ward and the nurse telling me after she'd done his hearing test that my son was deaf, that he wasn't responsive. When I had my son, I remember going back to the ward and the nurse telling me after she'd done his hearing test that my son was deaf, that he wasn't responsive. And she said it without a care, like she had no compassion or empathy. And I just remembered, I just started crying. And I also remember that she had made that same declaration or pronouncement on all the children on that ward. Initially, because I was, fueled by a lot of hormones, I wasn't thinking I wasn't being sensitive to the Spirit and realizing that maybe she wasn't so I wasn't being very sensitive to the Spirit in that moment, because obviously I was going through a lot of hormones. I just had the baby, but I just remember us going back and forth for so many reviews and going back and forth to see so many consultants and just being so worried that, I was going to have a child that wouldn't be able to hear or talk. And I remember this word dropped into my spirit that Jehovah, the gifts of Jehovah makes one rich and he adds no sorrow to it. And I said, God, you've given me a son. I'm supposed to be in a time of celebration and jubilation. You said that you would add no sorrow to any good gift that you give to me. And you also said that affliction will not arise the second time, because I had experienced certain things with my first child. So I stood on these two words and I held onto it and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. And I remember going for more and more reviews, and in the last couple, they started noticing changes in his hearing pattern, and eventually they told me that he was okay and they discharged him. But you have to realize that sometimes the enemy can use anyone, he can assign anyone. She's just an ordinary woman who was just used in that moment. She was probably having a bad day and she just decided to take it out on everyone. But at the end of the day, you need to remember that it's not the report of the doctors that you're going to believe. You need to believe in the report of the Lord and hold on to his word. Stand fast and stand true and stand firm unto his word, and remind him of his word. Remind him that, Lord, you said that affliction will not be lifted a second time. You said you've given me a good gift and you will add no sorrow to it. So remind God of his word, no matter what you're going through, and he will answer you.